I've been obsessed at the moment with the concept of relevance, or more specifically, relentless relevance. My new keynote is on the topic. All my videos seem to come back to this theme, and I'm obsessed over it. But somebody asked me a question the other day and said, why are you so obsessed with relevance? Like we've always wanted to be relevant. They're not wrong, but they're missing the point. You see, the point is not that I am obsessed with relevance. The point is that I'm obsessed, and you should be too, with the relentless part of it. You see, the mistake we're making is that we see relevance as the victory condition, but it's not. It's the whole game. And with a hat tip to James Carse and Simon Sinek, this particular game is an infinite game. Staying relevant is an infinite game. Infinite. To me, we live in a bit of a pandemic, an irrelevance pandemic, and it is rolling in. And if we are not ready for it, if ever there was a time for lockdown, it would be a lockdown on irrelevance.
Oh, not again.
We need to understand that this irrelevance is creeping on us. And if we don't pay attention, we'll be swallowed by it. I don't know if you remember at all. When I was a kid, there was one of my favorite films, was a film called The Never Ending Story. Atreyu! It was amazing. The basic story for the premise, for those of you who've not watched it, and just stop what you're doing and watch it because it's good. I've not watched it in years. I hope it stands up. If you've watched it recently and it still stands up, let me know in the comments. In fact, even more importantly, if you've watched it recently and it doesn't stand up, let me know in the comments, because then I definitely don't want to watch it.
But it's only a story. It's not real.
But here's the thing. So that film had a very simple concept. This kid, Bastian, he was reading the book and it was about Atreyu. And Atreyu lived in this world in which the nothing was coming in. And this nothingness was basically caused by a lack of creativity. But it was this all-consuming thing that rolled in and took over the world and swallowed everything. Well, I think that's what's happening now. I think we're living in a nothingness, and the nothing is irrelevance. The reason it's the nothing is that we are a cure for no disease. We're solving the wrong problem. We're a scratch without the itch, and that creates irrelevance.
That explains so many things.
Now, Let's agree on a definition here of relevance. I quite like the definition that says relevance is the act of being appropriate to the matter at hand. Now, the matter at hand will change because the moment we come up with a new solution to a problem that we had before, we now live in a world in which that happens. This is infrastructure inversion. We now live in a world where people are exposed to new problems, but we're not obsessed enough with it. And that's where the pandemic kicks in. This disease, this nothing rolls in. And I think the way that we change that is instead of making relevance an event, a place that we head towards, it becomes a way that we move. It becomes the game itself. The game itself for all of us, if you think about it, everything we're trying to do in our business, every marketing campaign, every strategic breakaway, they all exist for the same reasons. The reason is, how do we do something that will make us relevant so people buy stuff from us? And if you're a human being, it's how do I know something? And if you're an employee, the question is, what do I know and what do I bring to the table that is relevant to or appropriate to the matter at hand to keep me relevant?
What do I have to do? He has to give me a new name.
If you are relevant, if you are solving a problem that people have, you will always have a place in the world. It used to be that you could go away and you could study or you could build a new product and that would make you relevant forever. Or at least for a long time. That's not the case anymore. So the whole topic of the work that we're doing at the moment, the keynotes, the workshops we're running with businesses, is to actually try and get them to a point where they understand that the game is relevance. That's the game. That's the game we're all playing. How long can we remain relevant? And remaining relevant means you are still in the game. If you are not relevant, you are out of the game. Whether as a human or as a business, the game is to keep playing. If ever there was a concept where infinite game came into play, it would be the idea of remaining relevant. But the fun game is the meta game, the small game that we play inside that. That's the game where things get interesting. Once we understand that we are on this infinite game of staying relevant and continue to play, well, then what happens is we start creating these unique victory conditions along the way that will keep us there. My team and I are obsessed with this, and we want you to be obsessed with this. I want relentless relevance to be one of your company values. In fact, I would argue if it is not one of your company's values, you're missing the trick. And irrelevance is around the corner. That nothingness is coming in. So I'd love the opportunity to work with you, whether it's delivering a keynote that will get your team thinking about this, doing a workshop with your leadership team to really dial in where these moments of relevance can happen. I want my obsession to become your obsession, because your obsession, the people who are going to be obsessed with their relevance in the future are the ones who will create the future that the rest of the world is trying to stay relevant within. So that's it for me. It's a very easy one. If you want to reach out to me, get a hold of me on getrich.af or hook me up on LinkedIn. I'm there to answer any questions. I'm there to engage with you. But most importantly, right, let's make mischief together. Let's do some crazy stuff and let's remain relentlessly relevant.